Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. This time out, we're checking out the latest from Warm Audio, a recreation of a revered Scandinavian-made compressor. Let's get started. Today we're looking at the Warm Audio WA-1B. Now this is a recreation of a well-known and much-used Scandinavian-made compressor. Now the original compressor is very expensive, very hard to come by, but it's renowned for its smooth, musical, some say forgiving compression that's used often on vocals, bass guitar, electric guitar, keyboards, and other things, but typically you'll find it used on vocals, and it's become especially popular for hip-hop and rap vocals. So Warm Audio brought their usual attention to detail to the recreation that they've made here with the WA-1B. They've gone to great lengths to find premium components. This is an entirely hand-wired, through-hole, discrete analog signal path. We've got custom large-core Lundahl Sweden transformers here, which is a big part of the sound. There's also a low-noise linear toroidal transformer that's used in the power circuit. We have 12 AU tubes from JJ and 12 AX7s from Tungsol being used inside this circuit. There's a high-precision optical element that gives us that response that's so familiar from the original. And the entire thing is set up with a 270-volt internal operating voltage. So that's really going to drive those tubes the way they need to be driven to, again, give us that authentic recreation of the original sound. Let's take a quick tour, then we'll listen to some examples. Beginning on my far left of the panel, we've got the on and bypass switch, which of course brings the processing in and out. We've got an input gain control. Next up we have the ratio control, and the range of ratios available is from 2 to 1, very gentle compression, up to 10 to 1, which is basically limiting. The threshold control sets when compression starts to occur. When you cross that threshold, we'll start compressing the signal, and it can range to off to minus 40 dBu. Rounding up the top row of controls, this switch sets what's being displayed on the VU meter. You can show the input level, the output level, or the amount of compression. Moving down to the bottom row, again, we have that on bypass switch there. We've got the attack control, and that ranges from a very fast attack to a very slow attack. Next to it, we have the release control, in similar fashion, very fast release up to a very slow release. An important control that works with both the attack and the release controls is the attack-release control. Now this can be set to fixed, where the attack and the release times are fixed, of course. We can set that to hybrid, or we can set that to full manual control, which is how I have it set up here now. Rounding things out, a couple more controls. This is the sidechain bus control. This basically selects which of two sidechains on the back panel are being used to control the compressor, or you can set that to off. We have a calibration control for the meter, and then our power switch. Around the back panel, we have balanced XLR and quarter-inch inputs and outputs. And we also have those dual sidechain bus inputs and outputs. Now, those can be used to chain multiple units together, so you can use this in stereo, or you can chain a number of them together to get a multi-channel setup. As far as specs go, frequency response on the WA-1B is from 5 Hz to 25 kHz, so very broad frequency response, very flat frequency response as well. And we have a very low noise level as well, minus 75 dBu when we're running at 30 dB of gain. So, from the specs, the features, all of those things add up to a completely accurate recreation of the original. The question is, how does it sound? And I can tell you that I've had actually a chance to A/B it. I don't have an original unit here today, but I have had a chance to A/B it with an original, and it's astoundingly close. Let's listen to some tracks and check it out. So I've got 4 different tracks for us to check out here in Pro Tools. I've got an electric bass, an electric guitar amp, female vocals, and male vocals. And I've set them all up to be pretty well level matched. What you'll find is, as you're listening to it, it almost seems like the WA-1B is louder than the dry track, even though they are pretty well level matched. And that's because it just makes things bigger and really opens that top end up. We'll start with the female vocals, since that's a very common application for a compressor like this. I'll start with the dry signal, and then we'll switch back and forth with the compressed signal. Here we go.
Reach down, hold the sound, feel light, super tight, smile once, and then again. Sweeter things are in the air, happiness is everywhere.
Now let's check out male vocals. Once again, I'll start with the dry signal, and then we'll bring in the compressed signal.
Reach down, hold the sound, feel light, super tight, smile once, and then again. Sweeter things are in the air, happiness is everywhere.
Next up, we'll do a muted electric guitar track, beginning with the dry signal and then the compressed signal, and I'll switch back and forth again. To me, that track really demonstrates how the WA-1B can lift a signal out. It rounds out the lower mid-range a little bit, makes it sound a bit bigger, but it also opens up that top end in a beautiful way. We'll finish up with an electric bass track. Once again, that really shows how the WA-1B makes the sound bigger. The levels are pretty well matched, but we are getting just a bigger sound that comes out of the WA-1B. Now, I'm not compressing super heavily here. We're just getting a couple of dB of compression as we're playing these tracks through, but you can hear how much it really brings the signals to life. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the new WA-1B from Warm Audio. An incredible compressor that comes in at an even more incredible price when you consider where the original is at. It just seems to bring your tracks to life. You can add a lot of compression, it still sounds open, it still sounds natural, it still sounds smooth. This has become one of my favorite compressors for vocals, and I also love it on electric guitar as well as on bass. You could really use it on any source, but man, for vocals, bass, and guitar, really incredible. Check this one out, it's a great addition to your studio. For complete information, head over to Sweetwater.com and check out the product page, or contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. They'll be able to fill you in on all the details about the WA-1B. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater.